Welcome to a brighter morning. This is 8 News Now with Cale and Shauna. Neighborhood weather with Sherry. And Beat the Traffic with Brian.
And pleasant Monday morning. It's 4 a.m. Hello, I'm Cale Ramaker.
And I'm Shauna Khorrami. One last day. Today, the candidates will be out campaigning for the last time before Election Day.
As CBS's Susan McGinnis reports from Washington, both candidates doing all they can to seal a victory for tomorrow night.
President Obama,
if any undecided voters left.
That's a fact even these candidates can agree with.
We're no longer relevant now. We're props. Ultimately, it's up to you. You have the power.
A power voters will exercise tomorrow. Susan McGinnis, CBS News, Washington.
More than 27 million Americans have already voted. In Nevada, more than half of all registered voters have already cast their ballots, including 435,000 people in Clark County and 700,000 people statewide. And by the way, Republican Vice Presidential candidate Paul Ryan will be in Reno this morning with an event with Governor Brian Sandoval and Senator Dean Heller. A woman from Southern Nevada under arrest. She's accused of trying to vote twice. That's illegal. Poll workers questioned 56-year-old Roxanne Rubin, a registered Republican, after her name popped up in a database saying she tried voting a second time. She was taken to the Clark County Detention Center on a felony charge of trying to vote more than once.
Well, 8 News Now is your go-to station for all of tomorrow's election coverage. We're going to work together with CBS News to cover all the races from presidency to U.S. Senate and House races, along with state and local elections as well. The coverage will go throughout the day and into the night on Channel 8, as well as 8newsnow.com.
Let's go to Ted.
Yeah, Ted's here with us today. Hi, Teddy.
Good morning, Ted.
Guys, you know what? I think you like the forecast, too. You really are.
Are we going to vote for it?
Yeah, you're going to vote for the forecast. I am taking your votes for a good forecast.
I vote for sunny and mild.
Oh, you got it. You win. It's democracy, right? Beautiful outside, and we promised Shauna some nice weather. It's going to be mild this week, that's for sure, but big changes later on in the week. Live look outside. The winds are nice and calm right now. Current temperatures in the 60s for the north part of the valley. We haven't even hit our low yet. That's going to be right around 5 a.m., I think. So we're in the 60s for the north part of the valley, around the upper 50s to 60s for the south part of town, all the way down to Henderson there, Horizon Greenway at 63 degrees. So let's go right now to the surface map. High pressure is going to be responsible for keeping us tight in the 80s. This system out here is going to head on down. I'm talking heading right at us. And as it passes through, it's going to drop our temperatures like a rock as we go from the 80s. We think maybe to the low 60s to upper 50s for our highs later on in the week. Clear skies right now. Showers in the Pacific Northwest. Not going to see any of those clouds here anytime soon, at least until I'm thinking Thursday, when we'll start to see the difference in the temperatures and also the winds that will be returning. So mild for the day today, like we promised Shauna. 82 degrees for the high, clear skies, cool conditions at 8 p.m., 76 degrees at 8 p.m. And wait until you see the 7-day forecast. That is coming up in just a bit, but let's check in with our traffic with this guy.
Ted, if you have anybody come into town, warn them. Okay, I-15 North coming up from Prim, from State Line, all the way to Sloan Interchange. Your paving work resumes this week, and it's resuming at 7 a.m. today, and it goes 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then Thursday is 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, the reason it's during the day and not at night is they need temperature in the 70s. They need that temperature and that warmer weather that Ted just talked about. So northbound I-15 coming up. Viewers keep telling me, Brian, let everyone know that between the State Line and all the way to St. Rose Parkway, about a 30-minute drive, taking up to 2 hours. So heads up, there's fair warning. I'll keep getting it out on Twitter and Facebook as well. Nothing here. Wide open. 215 Green Valley Parkway down southeast, and then going along the resort corridor, I-15 and Spring Mountain, wide open and accident-free. Over to Cale.
Brian, thanks. 4:05. The man who hit and killed a little girl while she was out trick-or-treating last Halloween is set to learn his fate later today. Justin Carmonica is scheduled to be sentenced at 8:30 this morning. He admitted to taking pain pills and drinking before the crash that killed Faith Love as she was out in Summerlin last Halloween. He had been out on bail, but in September, Carmonica was arrested for another DUI and driving without a license. A judge revoked his bail after that second arrest.
The Army Staff Sergeant accused of killing 16 Afghan villagers in a pre-dawn rampage earlier this year will be in a military courtroom today. Staff Sergeant Robert Bales will have a preliminary hearing at an Army base just south of Seattle, Washington. The 39-year-old father of 2 could get the death penalty. The massacre left 16 dead, 9 of them children.
Not much expected to happen on Wall Street today and tomorrow as traders wait for the outcome of the presidential election. Stocks did fall Friday despite a better than expected employment report. The Dow fell 139 points. The Nasdaq was off almost 38. Shares of airline and insurance companies led the sell-off on concerns that obviously Superstorm Sandy will hurt their earnings. Meantime, some of the nation's biggest banks will waive some late fees in states that were hit the hardest.
Late night host and Las Vegas native Jimmy Kimmel wants to help raise money for Superstorm Sandy relief efforts. He is auctioning off his desk. The custom-made desk is signed by Kimmel, fellow late night host David Letterman as well, and also Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart. All three of them made appearances on Kimmel's show from Brooklyn last week, and all the proceeds are going to benefit the American Red Cross. That's great. Good for him.
That'd be a cool desk to sit at.
Yeah. Right? Oh, my gosh. Could you imagine the stories that desk must know? Well, the East Coast is still picking up the pieces.
After the break, we're going to show you how many people are still without power, and the number really, frankly, astonishing. You'll be surprised also how far some locals are going here to help out.
This portion of 8 News Now is brought to you by Senior Dimensions.
Well, millions of people are still without power a week after Superstorm Sandy had hit the region. The power outages are especially problematic for people at night, with temperatures dropping down into the 30s. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says the cold weather means tens of thousands of people will need new places to live during this period. And compounding the issue, a nor'easter is expected to hit the area this Wednesday. That's going to bring more rain, high winds, and the possibility of even more outages.
Now, this morning, crews at Nellis Air Force Base are helping send help to New York. NV Energy crews on board cargo planes are headed to Long Island this morning for what is sure to be several days of helping people there get back on their feet. And the first of the 3 planes, in fact, is already in the air. Cassandra Garcia live at Nellis this morning. Cassandra, with more on the story. Good morning.
Good morning. Just about 30 minutes before we went on air, a C-17 departed from here at Nellis Air Force Base carrying 3 trucks and 4 crew members from NV Energy. It's just one of 3 aircrafts departing from this Air Force Base to take much needed help and supplies to the East Coast. In total, NV Energy is sending 3 crews out of the East Coast to help the Long Island Power Authority repair damage caused by Hurricane Sandy. 2 of those crews are from southern Nevada and 1 is from northern Nevada. Hurricane Sandy caused 1 million power outages in the Long Island Power Authority territory. That company, just so you know, serves 1.1 million people in the New York area. And also, out here at Nellis Air Force Base, the Nellis Air Force Base tells us that those planes leaving from here will be landing at JFK Airport, and the other 2 planes we told you about, one is expected to get here around 5:20 in the morning, and the other one is expected to get here a little bit later in the afternoon. So we will be here live throughout the morning. Cassandra Garcia, 8 News Now.
Thank you very much. Local power crews aren't the only ones that are going to the East Coast to help. Red Cross volunteers from southern Nevada are on the ground in some of the hardest hit areas this morning. 15 to 20 people are already there. And now the Director of Emergency Services from the Southern Nevada chapter of the Red Cross is on the way. Jeff Brewer's deployment will last at least 2 weeks. He says maybe even through Thanksgiving.
Put a smile on my face, to be very, very flexible. And these situations are very fluid. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of work to be done. Best thing I can do is bring some energy to it and a smile on my face and provide some support and to relief to the workers who are there already.
Well, Jeff isn't sure exactly what he will be doing there, except he knows that it will be a leadership role.
Well, a Friday night telethon of all-stars helped raise millions for Jeff's organization. Christina Aguilera, Bon Jovi, Billy Joel, and Mary J. Blige were just a few of the celebrities who donated their voices to the cause. The 1-hour show aired on NBC and on the network's cable channels. According to USA Today, it raised nearly $23 million for the Red Cross. And if you want to donate $10, you can text Red Cross to 90999 and you'll automatically be donating that $10. Well, believe it or not, we are almost done. Yay!
We are just hours away from no more campaign ads. Imagine that. What will we do? After the break, what some local campaign volunteers are going to be doing today, and it's not about the candidates necessarily. 4:13 right now.
Oh.
Is it a little early in the morning for Wilson Phillips?
Never too early in the morning for that. Don't you know? Things are going to change, and things will go your way. If you just hold on. Well, we all know. We've been holding on for Election Day, and we know that it's just around the corner, and some of the big guns are trying to make sure that people get out and vote.
Take a listen to what one celebrity has to say in this ad on President Obama's official YouTube channel.
Hi, I'm Will Ferrell, comedian, actor, founder of Facebook, and I will do anything to get you to go out and vote on November 6th. I'm not kidding. Hungry? How about a home-cooked meal? Hope you like angel hair pasta. You need a guy to help you move a couch? Done. I've even got my own van. If you vote, I'll eat anything you tell me to. Garbage, hair, human toenails, underpants, whatever. I'll do it. I'm serious. I'll do anything to get you to vote. I'll punch myself in the face. I don't care.
Do it. I was waiting for him to punch himself in the... I was kidding.
If we would just let it roll, maybe he'd get that
maybe he would have punched himself in the face.
Yeah. Well, I know someone who's punching themselves in the face this morning. It's Ted, because you're filling in for Sherry.
Yeah.
What time did you get the call last night?
About 9:30.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, Ted, I'll make you some angel hair pasta just for being here.
Nice. You know, when you brought up the human toenails, that drew the line. Yeah, absolutely. That woke me up big time. Oh, yeah. This will wake you up in the morning. Nice, crisp temperatures. Right now, currently in the 60s outside, but it's going to get chillier as we head on this morning. Around 5 a.m. is where will probably be our lowest temperature for the day today. Low 60s right now throughout the region. Winds are nice and light at this hour. They will start to pick up, though, down the Colorado River. So notice our temperatures here, not so bad. Cold, though, in the Twin Cities and Chicago. And I want to go to this satellite. This is the infrared satellite. The reason for that is we've got this low here, this one up here. The two are going to work in tandem with each other, form and merge down in South Carolina, then head up along the eastern seaboard here, which is not good. We call that a nor'easter. Now, remember, they're still cleaning up after Superstorm Sandy. Now then they have to deal with that nor'easter. That's going to cause big problems out there later on in the week. As we take a look at a local radar, you'll see these radar sweeps I put up here. Nothing coming up on the radar. However, that will change later on in the week, but we do have a chance of showers actually in our forecast, maybe even some snow in the upper elevations. 82 degrees for the day today. Sunny skies, about 10 degrees above average. Near record highs actually for the day today. Not going to reach it though. And the numbers go from the 80s to, get this, eventually the 70s, and then the upper 50s to mid 50s later on in the week with a big passage of a cold front. We'll see the winds first, the chance of showers, and you're going to feel the cooler temperatures as we head on into the weekend. You have to probably not wear shorts this weekend.
Get the sweater ready. Ted, have you started drinking coffee since the little one arrived?
No, I think I'm going to, though.
Okay, get on board. Join, and thank you for joining us with your Cup of Joe this morning. I-15 and Flamingo northbound movement right here. Southbound down your television. Very easy commute. It's a great way to start the week. It's a great drive right now. We're live here up in the Northwest Corridor. We called it the Skinny Freeway for years, and we have to change that terminology quite soon as it keeps getting wider and wider. We're so used to seeing cones and barrels across this area near North Rancho and Ann Road. This is the final stage of Corridor 1, Phase 1, and this will be fully done by the end of the year. But right now, it's a lot easier drive, especially southbound along 95. Back over to Cale.
All right, Brian, 420. It'll be more phone calls, more knocking on doors, and more local volunteers making their final push for their candidate today. And then it's over. Thousands of them will be out today, mostly spreading information like where you can vote and the latest you can vote on Election Day. You need to be in line in Nevada by 7 p.m. They had a hard push this final weekend.
We get out on the doors, obviously about 9 a.m. we head out. We grab a quick lunch, and then we're out until dark. Once it's dark, we come back in and we hit the phones until people start yelling at us.
I like the energy these young guys put out around here, and knowing that if we can each do a little bit, we can get a positive result for the president.
Well, we'll see. Both campaigns will even have volunteers out on Election Day trying to help get people to the polls.
Well, attention tennis fans. How'd you like to see some of the game's greatest players hit the court for free? Now you can, thanks to 8 News Now. We're giving away tickets to the CTCA Championships at Mandalay Bay, and we're giving away 1 pair of tickets every day this week to the games on November 17th. So just sign up on our 8 News Now Facebook page. We'll announce today's winner before 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock in the morning. All right, well, if you need to fill up today, You might actually be surprised about what you find out.
What's behind the latest gas prices? Huh. I didn't fill up this weekend, but I get a sense that this is not a positive story. More coming up at 4:30. .442, a 31-year-old man made history this weekend, becoming the first amputee to climb to the top of the tallest building in the United States. Zach Gavater lost his right leg in a motorcycle accident a few years ago, but yesterday he went up all 103 floors of the Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower, using a prosthetic limb that he can control with his mind. Fascinating. The robotic leg responds to electrical impulses from muscles in his hamstring. An Illinois senator took part in making his first public appearance since a stroke.
It's great.
Yeah?
A lot more steps than the 45 that my staff counted to the Senate front door. Yeah.
2,700 people participated in Skyrise Chicago. Congratulations to him.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Well, Monday Night Football is getting a dose of politics today. Both President Obama and Republican challenger Mitt Romney are taping interviews that are going to air during the game. Now, that's going to be exciting during the football game. Chris Berman from ESPN, who talked with then Senator Obama and Senator John McCain 4 years ago, is going to be recording tomorrow's interviews. They will air during halftime. There's something you want to watch during halftime.
Different than highlights.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, redoing floors can cost a lot of money.
And in one case, this floor cost at least $2,500. That's because it was made from at least 250,000 pennies. Melanie Angst owns a tattoo gallery and a coffee shop. She says it was cheaper to glue the money than buy tile. Gosh, how tedious is this?
But exactly, how much was the time worth?
I don't know.
Goodness.
She picked up the pennies at a local bank and traded tattoos for helping create the floor. It took more than 300 hours and 3 weeks to finish up. So there is the answer.
Go for the tiles the next time.
So she did what is known in the industry as a trade out.
Yeah, I'll tattoo you.
I'll give you ink if you give me pennies.
If you help me. Yeah. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome to a brighter morning. This is 8 News Now with Cale and Shauna. Neighborhood weather with Sherry. And Beat the Traffic with Brian.
Good morning and thanks for joining us right now. It's 4:30 and my name's Shauna Khorrami.
I'm Cale Ramaker. We are down to just one day before America decides who will be president for the next 4 years.
And both candidates are making a final push today. President Obama will stop in Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio before heading to Chicago for election night. During a stop in Florida yesterday, he urged the crowd to stick with him.
You can choose to return to the top-down policies that crashed our economy. Or you can join me in building a future that focuses on a strong and growing middle class.
Vice President Joe Biden has stops planned in Sterling and Richmond, Virginia.
Mitt Romney working just as hard to try and win the White House. He'll campaign in Florida, Virginia, and New Hampshire today, and then spend the night in Boston and await the election tomorrow. He stopped in Pennsylvania on Sunday, his first visit since August, but the state suddenly closing in. Romney's aides say the polls have tightened in the traditionally Democratic state, giving Romney a chance to turn it from blue to red. At a rally in Cleveland, Ohio yesterday, Romney said it's time for a change.
Talk is cheap, but a record, it's real, and it's earned with real effort. Change is not measured in words and speeches. Change is measured in achievements. So let's look at that record.
Vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan will start his final day of campaigning in Reno this morning, followed by stops in Colorado, Iowa, and Ohio.
Well, Channel 8 is your one-stop shop for all of tomorrow's election coverage. CBS News and 8 News Now, we're going to cover all of the races for you. President, U.S. Senate, and House, as well as state and local elections. Make sure that you're tuned into Channel 8 as well as 8newsnow.com.
Gas shortages, power outages, and now frigid temperatures all combining to make it much harder for the millions struggling to rebound from Superstorm Sandy. And now there's another worry for the people in the Northeast, another storm. Big Eyed Shaban with more now from Staten Island.
Get warm, get on the bus.
Staten Island residents.
That means I can power my house, I can feed my family, we can have hot water and take hot showers.
New Jersey officials expect the gas shortages to ease this week. Big Eyed Shaban, CBS News, Staten Island, New York.
And one other note, New York City schools are open today for the first time since Sandy hit.
Well, Sandy also forced the cancellation of hundreds of blood drives on the East Coast, so there's a serious need for donations. Dozens of people rolled up their sleeves and gave during a local blood drive yesterday. It will fill a small void.
It means a lot. It makes you feel good as a person, and it makes you feel good that you know you're doing something to help other people, that even if you don't know them.
This is the ideal thing to do because you don't need to write us a check. You just come on, give us your arm, your blood.
The Red Cross says it's facing a shortage of at least 9,000 blood and platelet donations, and there's another Red Cross blood drive today at the Lowe's on Boulder Highway, noon to 4 p.m. Also tomorrow at the Lowe's on East Charleston, that will be from noon to 4 p.m. as well. And local crews from NV Energy are on the way to the East Coast right now to help get power back on for folks out there. They took off from Nellis Air Force Base on a cargo plane just a few minutes ago, and the second one is going to be taken off in about a half an hour, with a third going sometime this afternoon. They are trying to help some of the millions of people who are still in the dark a week after Sandy has hit.
Well, we're going to be in the dark earlier now because of daylight saving ended.
That's right. We got an extra hour yesterday, Ted.
You know, and everyone's talking about they got this extra hour of sleep.
You did.
I did. When you got a new kid, you don't get an extra hour of sleep at all. But you know what? I'm glad that, you know, we fell back on the temperatures. It's going to get darker now, just like Cale said. But temperatures are reflecting the nice fall-like weather, currently in the 50s to even some areas looking in the 60s outside right now. 37 Mount Charleston, chilly up there in Old Town. Boulder City currently 69 degrees. Prupp, you're starting off around 49 degrees. Blue Diamond at 48 in Boulder City at 69 degrees. For you right now. Okay, as we take a look across the nation, we've got this system here. We've got another one way up near Vancouver Island, okay? Now, the two are going to form a nor'easter for the mid-Atlantic. Not good, because we just showed you that story where they're still just trying to pick up the pieces from Superstorm Sandy. It's going to ride along the coast here, pick up some moisture, and change it over to snow. They're going to get some strong wind along with that, too. Just not a good situation for those East Coasters. Watches and warnings. The only thing I'm seeing right now is a freeze warning. That's in Virginia at this point. Good to see not more severe warnings than that. As far as the West Coast goes, we've got a low that is just around the Gulf of Alaska. Got some cold air along with it that's going to head out towards us, and that is going to drop our temperatures big time for the upcoming week, more so on the weekend. 7 a.m. wake up forecast, 59 degrees, cool and clear. We're looking at mainly light winds, so less than 15 miles per hour. 82 degrees will be our high today with sunny skies. Now our normal is 72. Our record is 84 degrees. So we're going to be close to our record for this time of year, and that goes for tomorrow and also the next day too. So for the week ahead, the next 3 days here, tomorrow's the big election day, 83 degrees. Sunny and mild for Wednesday, too. And then the winds of change, oh, yeah, they come in Thursday. 75 degrees will be a high then. Brian, over to you, buddy.
Your new daughter didn't get the memo about the time change?
No, she didn't. No, I'm on her schedule.
Absolutely. I saw our coworker, Fred Cash, tweeting about that yesterday. His kids didn't get the memo. 95 in Jones, if you exit here, Jones between 95 and Sahara. Lane restrictions due to widening takes you in a little bit. And our friends coming up from State Line to Sloan Interchange, northbound I-15, big time delays seen. All the way from State Line to St. Rose Parkway could take 2 hours, and this is 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. There it is. They need to do it during the day because they need the consistent 70s to do this paving work. Plan for delays. Here we are at I-15 in Russell. On the left side of your TV is the freeway, and right here is the access road. Just a reminder, the speed there is 45 miles per hour, still completely free of accidents. Back over to Cale.
All right, we're expecting to learn more later today about the Metro officers who shot a man Saturday night near Boulder Highway and Tropicana. 8 News Now has learned the shooting may have stemmed from a carjacking. Police say they responded to gunfire, and when they arrived, the suspect pointed a gun at them. They were forced to shoot. No officers were injured, but the suspect was shot and sent to a hospital in stable condition. Metro tells us before the shooting, they were called to that same area to investigate a domestic violence situation involving that same suspect. It was the second police shooting in just 2 days. On Friday, 2 Metro officers shot and killed a man near the Siegel Suites near Twain and Swenson. Police say the suspect was being evicted and was threatening to take a hostage from the motel. When officers arrived, the man grabbed a woman off the street and put 2 knives to her throat. When he refused to put the knives down, Metro officers Russell Ellsworth and Brandon Orris opened fire.
Well, today the Nevada State Supreme Court will hear arguments by a couple trying to block a judge from holding hearings that could result in the termination of their mentally disabled daughter's pregnancy. The 32-year-old woman has the mental capacity of a 6-year-old and became pregnant 13 weeks ago. It's not known if the pregnancy resulted from a rape or consensual sex. The anonymous couple follows traditional Catholic beliefs and claims that the judge has no authority in the case.
A judge is set to rule later today on whether or not a candidate for state assembly is actually eligible for the position. Democrat Andrew Martin is accused of living outside the district he's trying to represent. His opponent, Republican Kelly Hurst, says Martin lives in a house in Summerlin, but he's running to be assemblyman of District 9, which is in southwest Las Vegas near Tropicana and the 215. Martin says he owns a condo in District 9 and that he's using his old home as an office only.
Well, we expect to learn more today about the deadly fire that happened over the weekend. An apartment unit at the Foothills Village apartment complex near Tropicana and Jones caught on fire Saturday night. Neighbors tell us that the person who died was a disabled woman who they say couldn't get out, adding that she was also bedridden.
CSI was there last night and they didn't really say much. I think all I've heard is that it's an electrical problem. It wasn't a power plug or something. It's a sad event. I mean, somebody had to pass away. It could happen to anybody, but that lady was, you know, like I said, she's bedridden. The son was at work. I don't know. It was a fast-spreading fire.
No one else was hurt in the fire, which did about $100,000 in damage.
4:40 now, and we have good news for drivers on this Monday. The average price for a gallon of gasoline took its biggest drop since 2008. The national average is down nearly 21 cents. The average across the country at $3.47 a gallon. However, here in southern Nevada, we're paying an average of $3.69 a gallon. Falling oil prices are helping bring the prices down, along with the fact that there's that seasonal drop in demand because of the arrival of fall and fewer people are traveling.
All right, well, a Navy legend is heading towards history.
But what to do with a warship that weighs 90,000 tons, you ask? We're going to tell you after the break. Stay with us. 4:41 on... Tragedy this weekend in Pittsburgh as the Pittsburgh Zoo remains closed Monday after a 2-year-old boy died after falling into an exhibit over the weekend. Police say the mother put the boy on the top railing for a better view of a pack of African painted dogs. Now that's when the boy fell. Investigators aren't sure if the little boy died because of the fall or after the wild dogs pounced on him. Officers say that they did have to shoot and kill one of the dogs.
Well, it was a bittersweet ending to a search for a missing child in Atlanta, Georgia. The 9-year-old boy was found safe and sound, but a helicopter that was working to find him crashed on Saturday, killing 2 police officers on impact. The aircraft has been flying low to conduct a much more thorough search. Reports out this morning say the helicopter may have clipped a power line pole.
Well, a big piece of U.S. history and a symbol of U.S. military might has returned home for the final time. That is the USS Enterprise arriving in Norfolk, Virginia. It will officially become inactive on December 1st. The Enterprise is 53 years old, and it is the U.S.'s first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. It's been involved in military efforts from the Cuban Missile Crisis to the Persian Gulf War. The Enterprise radioactive fuel will be removed, and then it will be cut up and sold for scrap metal. And there's a lot of it. Enterprise weighs about 180 million pounds. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, no kidding.
You ever seen one of those things up close?
I have actually.
Unbelievable how big they are.
It is unbelievable. It's amazing to watch.
It's one of the most inspiring speeches you'll ever see, and it's not from a movie.
Why, this coach had something a little extra to celebrate after a big win yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
Ken Smith and Chopper 8, helping you beat the traffic every day.
Beat the Traffic is brought to you by attorney Edward M. Bernstein. Accident? Injury? Enough said. Call Ed.
Well, this is pretty cool. The most memorable part of NFL Sunday, not any of the games yesterday, but a post-game speech by one of the head coaches. Chuck Pagano is the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, but he is on medical leave being treated for leukemia. This was his first chance to see the team since learning that he has cancer of the blood, and he gave an emotional speech after the big win. Most passing yards in a game, besting the guy that he replaced, Peyton Manning. But
that makes you a little emotional.
Yeah, that
just a tad.
Well, it tells you that it gives you an idea of what it's all about for a lot of these guys.
Beautiful speech. It definitely puts perspective on it all. We see a lot of those pregame speeches. That one took it to another level. Very personal.
You bet.
Well, traffic is wide open right now, guys. We have switching gears to an accident-free commute. And I'll tell you what, Spaghetti Bowl down south, as you head down on I-15, this is where we are locked up later in the morning. But right now, it's a good, smooth commute. If you leave early, if you're an early bird commuter, you know that you pretty much have the freeway to yourself. And here we are at 4:15 a.m., and that's exactly the case, completely accident-free. As we continue along, our 95 and Rainbow Curve commute, southbound 95, is looking just delightful. Now, we do have that I-15 paving work northbound between State Line and the Sloan interchanges. It's been causing huge daily delays, and apparently the reason they're doing it during the day between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. is they need consistent temperatures in the 70s. Ted's here with our weather report. And Ted, are they going to keep getting those 70s this week?
You know, they better speed it up.
Hurry up, huh?
Hurry up, because the early part of the week, we're going to get the 80s. And then eventually the 70s, but the second half of the week is when we're really going to get some changes that we may only be in the upper 50s, and that is it. Currently outside right now, we're in 60s here in Las Vegas. Salt Lake coming in at 42 degrees. Phoenix warmer than us, as usual, 64 degrees there. Look how cold it is in the Twin Cities, Chicagoland, and the Big Apple, 40 degrees to 38 degrees for their current temperature. Now, I want to show you the surface map because that big H out here is high pressure. That sinking air that compresses warms us up. So that means early on this week, we're going to be in the 80s. We're going to be above average. But we've got this big trough here in the jet stream, along with this big surface low, and that's got a lot of cold air along with it, and that's going to take a beeline right towards us. Once it passes through, you're going to see the winds first. You're going to feel the temperatures, and the daytime highs, like we said, are going to drop, especially this weekend. And that may even also give us a slight chance of showers, too, by Saturday. As we take a look at the West Coast and our satellite and radar composite, we're clear here. The Pacific Northwest, my old neck of the woods, oh, yeah. Where Cale and I grew up, we've got rain up there as usual. Temperatures right now at, like we said, the 60s, or 50s, I should say. 9 a.m. at 64 degrees, noon at 77. Going to be mild today, 82 degrees are high. And get this, 84 is actually our record for this time of the year, so we're getting close to our record. We'll stay in the 80s consistently for the mid part of the week. And then the second half is when we'll get those big changes. We'll show you that in your 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes. Cale and Shauna, send it back to you.
Imagine it raining in the Northwest this time of year.
Shocking.
That's all it does.
Well, your property taxes might soon see a spike.
Stay with us. It's coming up in our 5 o'clock hour this morning. We're going to have more on the decision that you have to make as you head to the poll tomorrow and how much more money lies in limbo for the Clark County Public School District. 4:52. We'll be right back.
Well, new studies are reinforcing that Americans need to cut down on sodium. A new review backs up the American Heart Association's recommendation to limit salt to less than 1,500 milligrams per day. Oof, good luck with that. Yeah. Numbers show that most people consume more than double that, and doctors say less salt can cut the risk of high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. Well, limiting the amount of time that children spend watching TV can actually help bring families back to the dinner table. A new study in the journal Pediatrics looked at the two groups of parents. Those who were counseled about reducing TV time ate fewer meals in front of the television. Researchers say that children who eat while watching TV tend to eat larger portions and also less healthy foods.
A newcomer wrecks the competition at the weekend box office. Wreck-It Ralph took in more than $49 million in its weekend debut. Denzel Washington's latest movie, Flight, soared past the competition to clinch the #2 spot. Ticket sale totals hitting $25 million. And Argo rounded out the top three. The Ben Affleck movie continues to impress moviegoers. This weekend, the film brought in more than $10 million. All right, a new Playboy club set to open up next month.
Yeah, but this one is going to be in India. It'll be the country's first. The company spokesman says there's not going to be any nudity, and the focus will be on glamour, not sex. That's probably true because Bollywood movies, you're not even allowed to kiss the person in a Bollywood movie.
Kind of defeat the purpose of Playboy.
Well, the Playboy Buddy promoters are trying not to spark a backlash in India where, there you go, kissing scenes on the big screen just recently became acceptable. Sorry, because I grew up, my best friend's Indian, so they were not allowed to kiss in Bollywood movies. It's like...
It's a little bit different over there.
Taboo, yeah, a little bit different over there. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
5 o'clock coming up next.
I already messed it up this time. Didn't I, my dear? Didn't I, my...
Help is on the way. We are live this morning at Nellis Air Force Base. What's inside that giant cargo plane is bringing much-needed relief to Superstorm Sandy victims.
Plus, bracing for more bad weather. The next storm expected to wreak havoc on the already battered East Coast.
And it is the final day of campaigning, the last tool both presidential campaigns will use today to make sure voters vote tomorrow.
Welcome to a brighter morning. This is 8 News Now with Cale and Shauna. Neighborhood weather with Sherry. And Beat the Traffic with Brian.
And it's 5 a.m. on Monday. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Cale Ramaker.
And I'm Shauna Khorrami. Nearly a week later, power crews are still struggling to get the power back on along the East Coast.
This morning, according to Con Ed, the major power provider in the Northeast, 80% of its customers have electricity. And Con Ed says the vast majority should have their power restored by this coming weekend. Despite that, millions of people across the region remain in the dark this morning. And with temperatures now dipping into the 30s, New Yorkers are just trying to keep warm until they can turn the heat back on. Thousands of people could end up having to find new places to live until power is fully restored. And right now, crews at Nellis Air Force Base are sending help to New York.
NV Energy crews are on board cargo planes heading to Long Island this morning. The first of the 3 planes is already on its way, and Cassandra Garcia is live at Nellis this morning with the latest. Cassandra?
Hi, good morning. Well, I want you to take a look behind me right here. This C-17 just landed a few moments ago, and it's very similar to the one that took off from here around 3:30 this morning. On board the first C-17 to take off were 3 trucks, and 4 NV Energy crew members that were expected to help the Long Island Power Authority repair damage caused by Superstorm Sandy. In total, NV Energy is sending 3 crews, 2 from southern Nevada and 1 from northern Nevada to the East Coast. Superstorm Sandy caused 1 million power outages in the Long Island Power Authority territory. That company serves 1.1 million people in the New York area. And the last of the 3 aircrafts is expected to land here at Nellis sometime this afternoon. As you can see, this airplane will be here for a few hours. It is expected to leave here around 8:05 this morning, carrying with it supplies and much needed help to the East Coast. Reporting live from Nellis Air Force Base, Cassandra Garcia, 8 News Now.
And
All right, thanks, Cassandra.
And since Sandy hit, hundreds of blood drives on the East Coast had to be canceled. So today the Red Cross is holding a blood drive to fill a shortage of at least 9,000 blood and platelet donations. Today's drive will be at the Lowe's on Boulder Highway, starts at noon and runs until 4 this afternoon. There will also be a blood drive tomorrow at the Lowe's on East Charleston.
Well, it is the last thing that folks on the East Coast need right now, but another storm is headed for the area. A nor'easter is being forecast to hit New York and New Jersey on Wednesday. It's expected to bring more rain, high winds, and even the possibility of more power outages, which is really the last thing they need over there. They're already struggling, and NV Energy heading over there.
Yeah, the cold temperature is really the worst thing.
Absolutely, yeah. They're stuck without power, and it's freezing out there. We don't have that problem, Ted.
No, not at all. I mean, we're going to have some chilly nights these next couple of nights, especially towards the weekend. But that nor'easter, not a good situation for those folks on the East Coast. Like we said, they're still cleaning up for that. Now, what's going to happen is that low that's centered here in the southern plains and one that's heading into the Great White North will merge together and form that nor'easter and ride up along the coast. We call it the nor'easter because it brings the winds from the northeast. Those are colder winds. That means it's going to bring some snow, some rain, and some very strong winds along with that. And a lot of those folks don't even have any power yet, so they got to deal with that. Our thoughts and prayers for all those folks out there. Local radar now shows as we do these radar sweeps, we're not getting any precip popping back on our radar. That's going to change later on in the week, though, as we will get a chance of showers back in the forecast. I think maybe even on Saturday, Friday night even maybe. Temperatures outside at this hour currently in the 50s. Some of you in the 60s at this hour. The high for the day today, 82 degrees. We're looking at sunny skies and above average temperatures again. That's going to last for at least 3 days here. And then we start to see these numbers drop. Look at this, Brian. 59 degrees. We're high on Friday, 56 on Saturday with a chance of showers. That's exactly what I thought, Cale, when I saw that.
83 to 56 within 4 days.
Big drop.
Bust out the turtleneck, Ted. DI tunnel, looking at your commute. Your commute's fine. He doesn't have a turtleneck. It's looking just delightful right now, zipping along. I do want to give you a heads up, though, on the east side of town. DI and Nellis, continue to avoid it as you still have the work there finishing up. It's a sewer rehab project, which does have intermittent closures. I-15 and Blue Diamond down in the South Valley. Let's go to our maps and take a drive up north as we move along I-15. This is your northbound drive. Left side of your TV is your southbound. Through the interchange of the South Valley, I-15 at Trop 65. Those speeds will continue as we head northbound right up and on through the Spaghetti Bowl. It is a good accident-free commute. We'll send it over to the desk.
All right, thanks a lot, Brian. Well, North Las Vegas police are investigating an overnight shooting. We're told that 2 men were involved in a shootout near Gowan and Clayton around 1:30 this morning. One of the men was taken to UMC in critical condition. The other was taken in for questioning. No word on what actually sparked the shooting.
The man who hit and killed a young girl while she was out trick-or-treating last Halloween will be sentenced in just a few hours. Justin Khorrami admitted he took pain pills and drank before he hit and killed Faith Love in Summerlin last Halloween. But he hasn't stayed out of trouble either. It was just September that Khorrami was arrested again, charged with another DUI.
Of Americans will head to the polls tomorrow, and with little time left, both presidential campaigns are in overdrive right now. So don't be surprised if you hear a knock at the door today. Volunteers are going to be canvassing neighborhoods in an effort to get the vote out. Campaign managers for both Mitt Romney and President Obama say that with it being such a close race, the push is to get voters to understand the difference between the candidates before they vote.
This is an election that's going to come down to hundreds of votes. And folks here in Nevada, both through their volunteer hours and their vote, can make a huge difference in which way Nevada casts its electoral votes in November. So, you know, again, we're looking very forward to November 6th. Folks here have been working very, very hard.
I think the groundwork, the fundamental groundwork is the same from 2008. I mean, it's really knocking on doors. It's making sure voters are aware of the difference between the two candidates and just making sure people get to the polls, both during early vote and on Election Day.
And both camps are saying that the economy and jobs are the issues that are most important to Nevadans.
Today, President Obama will hit up 3 swing states, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio. Mitt Romney's camp will still keep a close eye on Nevada. Romney's son, Craig, will be in southern Nevada campaigning for his dad later today. He'll be at the East Las Vegas Victory office, meeting with supporters and volunteers around 2:30 this afternoon. And then he will head to the campaign's Henderson office around 4:40. Meanwhile, vice presidential nominee Paul Ryan will be in northern Nevada. Ryan is set to speak at the Reno-Tahoe International Airport around 9:30 this morning with Governor Brian Sandoval.
Well, Nevada's Secretary of State says that he won't put up with any funny business on Election Day. On Friday, a criminal complaint was filed accusing Roxanne Rubin of voting at 2 different polling locations on the same day. Poll workers questioned her when her name popped up in a database, and she denied already voting. She was not allowed to vote that second time, of course.
8 News Now will have you covered for all of tomorrow's election coverage. We are working closely with CBS News to follow all the races that matter to you, not just the presidential contest, but the state and local elections as well. Be sure to watch throughout the day and into the night right here on 8 News Now and online at 8newsnow.com. Millions of dollars are on the line.
The impact a ballot measure could have on Clark County schools and why some voters may not want it to pass.
Plus, employees living and work on the Strip are getting stuck in a left turn lane instead of driving home. Brian gets engineers to investigate, and their answer is coming up in What's Driving You Crazy.
This portion of 8 News Now is brought to you by Rapid Cash.
Well, in this morning's 8 on Your Side report, Michelle takes a closer look at question 2 that is on your ballot. It focuses on adding property tax for the next 6 years for the CCSD to use for school renovations.
Parents have asked Michelle to find out how the tax would or would not benefit their children. She talked to people on both sides of the issue. And good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. I do get a lot of calls, emails, and questions about CCSD. Parents really do care about what their kids are going through. Lana DePrell has some concerns about her child's classroom environment and wanted to know more about question 2 on the ballot and if it would help her school.
Okay, well, what do you want, bologna and cheese?
Lana DePrell has her hands full most mornings with her 4 kids.
School hungry, Eva.
But their education is a top priority. Although recently, she's had concerns as to whether or not CCSD was giving her kids their best.
My concern is overcrowding.
Her kindergartner goes to Eisenberg Elementary, and they recently lost a teacher, so the classes combined.
She's not gonna get the attention that she needs.
So Lana wanted to know if the pay-as-you-go ballot measure would help her kids. The property tax increase will give more than $600 million to CCSD. 92% of the cash is for renovations at these schools. Eisenberg isn't on the list. However, 8% is going to help overcrowding. But again, that money isn't designated for Lana's kids. CCSD says they're using the money in the most vulnerable areas and schools.
We also have that 30% of our schools that are so aging that the systems in those schools really need to be updated so that we don't have to really be just trying to band-aid things together all the time.
Associate Superintendent Joyce Halderman explains money will mainly be used to fix electrical systems, air conditioners, and leaks. You may recall at the beginning of the school year, there were several air conditioners that malfunctioned at schools. CCSD says they addressed the problems as quickly as they could. But with the budget cuts they faced, it took time.
We've had $600 million of budget cuts over the last 4 years, and the maintenance department isn't immune to those budget cuts.
But if you look closely at which schools are getting money for repairs, Diskin and Gregson Elementary Schools, 2 that had AC problems this year, aren't on the list. That doesn't sit well with Lana either. After doing her research, Lana has decided to vote no.
I mean, if it was a tax that was going to go into for our teachers or for our classrooms or for where it's really needed, I would be all for it.
CCSD counters, fixing buildings does affect the learning environment.
So we really do need to take care of these aging systems in some of our most vulnerable schools so our students don't have to worry about having their instruction time jeopardized because either the AC doesn't work.
And for more information on both sides of this issue, head over to my blog on the 8 on Your Side page. Cale, Shauna?
That is
Thanks,
interesting.
Michelle.
Some information we didn't know.
Boy, there are some big changes coming in the weather.
Are there?
Yeah.
I like the way, I mean, that's like dun dun dun.
Yes, that was dramatic.
Something big's happening over there, Ted.
I really set you up there to hit one out of
that was good. That was good. I like that. And yeah, wait until you see the 7-day forecast because Cale's not joking. We do have some big changes. Temperature drops from the 80s. Maybe only to the upper 50s, and that's not a joke. Temperatures outside right now, take a look at them in your specific neighborhoods. Winds are pretty much calm right now. Could get a little breezy down the Colorado River, though, as the day moves on, but should be nice and light here in the valley. Let's go to our water vapor satellite. Clear skies right now. It's going to remain that way throughout the day today. You can see some of this energy heading into the Pacific Northwest up and over that jet stream, or that high, I should say. And so none of that's really going to reach us. There's a look at that high. As that air compresses from that high, it warms us up, which is why our temperatures will be above average. Near record numbers, actually, for the next 3 days. And then that's going to change as this next big low you see out here in the Pacific, the big L out there, that's the one that's going to bring us the changes this week. 59 degrees for your 7 a.m. wake-up forecast. Cool and clear with mainly light winds this morning, maybe less than 10, less than 15 miles per hour. 82 degrees for the high today. Sunny skies. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. And we'll show you the 7-day forecast in just a second. But right now, let's get a check of our traffic with Brian Loftus.
Still looking good, Ted. In fact, continuing for our freeway drive to be free of accidents, even here at I-15 in Sahara. We're in a 24-hour period. There's up to 15 accidents per average right now. Very easy and peaceful in your commute. Next camera is showing 95 in Charleston. Live look at the camera, live look at the map in this exact same area, and you'll see what's reflected in that camera. Good northbound movement, southbound pulling up a 65. We'll kind of move across the valley and head over to the Rainbow Curve, where southbound drive is very nice right now, and I-15 all along the resort corridor, be it northbound or southbound. Good high speed. Back over to Cale.
Tennis fans, how'd you like to see some of the game's greatest players hit the court for free? You can thanks to 8 News Now. We're giving away tickets to the CTCA Championships at Mandalay Bay. You have the chance to win a pair of tickets every day this week to the games, which are on Saturday, November 17th at 7:30. Just sign up now on our 8 News Now Facebook page. We'll announce the winner just before 7.
Well, e-readers keep getting more affordable. Jane King has got that and what's behind a drop in gas prices in this morning's Bloomberg Business Report.
Good morning. Some good news for drivers. Casting that may appeal to you. Barnes & Noble cutting prices on the Nooks to the lowest price ever for the gadgets. The Nook tablet now $20 off at $159, and the Nook collar $20 off at $139. At Bloomberg headquarters in New York, I'm Jane King with the Bloomberg Business Report.
Thank you for watching the Bloomberg Business Report.
And welcome back, 521. 3 new job listings on this money from Job Connect. And did I just say money? It's Money Monday. Yes. I meant to say Monday. Anyway, here are some 3 new job listings from Job Connect and 8 News Now. Customer service clerk paying $10 an hour. You should have a high school diploma or a GED. There's an opening for an administrative assistant that pays $13 an hour. You need a year of experience. And finally, a guest services contact center agent. A year of experience, and that pays $12 an hour. We have more information on these jobs and others at our website, 8newsnow.com. Use the keyword jobs.
And if you want to excel at your job and live a happier life, you might want to check your posture. That's right, sit up straight.
Look at this
Research suggests that, ooh, yeah, that's bad. That's you might have some scoliosis there. They suggest that if you slouch, it might make you a grouch. What is so funny? Studies found that it could actually make depression worse. Students were asked to walk down a hallway with good posture, others with bad posture. The ones who walked standing tall felt better than those who slouched. And slouching can also cause career problems because people are less likely to see you as a vital part of the team if you are slouching all the time.
Is that right?
Excellent.
That is right.
Thank you for that report, Shauna.
See, now if I were to do that, it would just look inappropriate.
What are you saying, Shauna?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Hey, Money Monday, Floyd Mayweather just turned his head. Here's our What's Driving You Crazy question today. Heading south on Koval and turning left on Flamingo is inefficient. There's 2 left turn lanes, but the green turn arrow is too short for turn lanes to empty, with employees from the Venetian, Palazzo, Sands Convention Center, and the Wynn using this when leaving. It seems a situation that could be improved. Here you go, Frank. I know you're watching. I asked RTC Text to look into this, and it all comes down to math. Flamingo is one of the heaviest traveler corridors in the valley. 55,000 cars travel on Flamingo daily. RTC engineers determined that as of right now, any additional green signal time added to that Koval left turn would negatively impact the coordination of the Flamingo signal in those 55,000 cars. Basically, it would even cause more congestion. So this turn from Koval will continue to have its delays. They do time the signal for commuter hours, but employee shifts on the strip vary so much this will not always help. Plan for a long left here, and Frank just groaned. Sorry, I wish I could have helped more. We tried. What's driving you crazy? Send along your question to traffic8@8newsnow.com. Back to the desk.
I thought you had all of the red light power control at your desk over there.
Click. I'm very conscious about the way I'm sitting now. Well, the clock is ticking.
Where the presidential candidates are hoping to sway voters on their final day of campaigning and how that might have an impact on your day. Coming up. Taking flight, the much-needed supplies on board these Air Force cargo planes headed east, and how it could mean lights on for Superstorm Sandy victims.
And a change of plans, the way that thousands of New York City Marathon runners made the most of their trip after the event was canceled.
And it is a tight race. The last-minute attacks between Dean Heller and Shelley Berkeley as they battle out the final hours to be Nevada's senator.
Welcome to a brighter morning. This is 8 News Now with Cale and Shauna. Neighborhood weather with Sherry. And Beat the Traffic with Brian.
Good morning. Time right now. We're just coming up on 5:30. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Shauna Khorrami.
And I'm Cale. Ramaker. Today marks the start of the first work week since Superstorm Sandy hit the East Coast.
New York officials say that it likely won't be an easy transition. The subway system is slowly coming back online. Transit authorities are borrowing buses from other cities to handle the extra demand that is going to be expected. and millions of people are still without power in the Northeast, but the lights are slowly coming back on. According to Con Edison, 80% of the customers are already back online. And right now, crews at Nellis Air Force Base are sending help to New York.
The NV Energy crews are on board Air Force cargo planes headed to Long Island eventually this morning, and the first of 3 planes is in fact already in the air headed to New York's JFK Airport. Cassandra Garcia live at Nellis this morning with more on this big airlift. Cassandra?
Well, that's right. One plane is already on its way, and you can see right behind me here, there is actually a C-17 being loaded up with material and other crews that will be sent over to the East Coast. Joining me right now is Andrea Smith. She is with ENV Energy, and she's here to tell us a little bit about what exactly the crews will be doing.
They're headed back east to JFK, and then they will assist the Long Island Power Authority with power restoration efforts, whether that be re-erecting poles, hanging wire, whatever's needed to be done.
Okay, and about how many people will you be sending, and how many vehicles?
We have a total of 18, 11 here from our Southern Nevada company, with a total of 12 line and support vehicles.
Okay, and any indication as to how long you'll be able to be there and help out?
Hopefully at least a week. Not sure what that schedule may be. Once they get on the ground and they've fully assessed all the damage, we'll have a better idea of how long they'll be there.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And we will be here bringing you more information as it becomes available. Reporting from Nellis Air Force Base, Cassandra Garcia, 8 News Now.
Tanner, we'll check in with you a little bit later. Thanks.
Well, it isn't just corporations helping out in the relief effort. Southern Nevadans have been lending a hand since Sandy hit last week, and today they're going to get even more help.
Bring some energy to it and a smile on my face, and provide some support and relief to the workers who are there already.
Jeff Brewer is the Director of Emergency Services from the Southern Nevada chapter of the Red Cross, and he's joining about 20 of his colleagues already in the region. Jeff's deployment will last at least 2 weeks.
Well, thousands of athletes headed to New York over the weekend thinking they would be competing in the big New York City Marathon, but as you probably heard by now, it was canceled abruptly on Friday. So instead, well, many of the runners decided to deliver supplies and relief to storm victims on Sunday. Also, many of the marathoners had trouble finding a place to stay. Some hotels reportedly were not honoring out-of-town bookings because they were full with people who had lost their homes in the storm, and then others just went ahead and had their own marathon.
Yeah, yeah. It was just a mess out there with that because so many people travel over there.
Well, the thing is that, look, I mean, they waited until the last minute on those people. And
They
people
did.
flying from around the world for that thing.
Yeah, they absolutely do. It's a big deal. It's a point of pride for New Yorkers. So,
yeah.
What are you going to do, Ted?
Yeah, you know, and that's the first time, I think, in 42 years they've ever canceled the marathon. So, but we've got some pretty bad neighborhoods out there, too, from Superstorm Sandy. So we've got another system on the way, though, for those neighborhoods, which we'll show you in just a second. Outside right now, that was a live look from our camera from the Rio. We've got a gorgeous sunrise this morning. Your current temperatures for the north part of the valley currently in the 60s. We've already hit our low, so now we're going to start to see the numbers slowly start to go up. Currently in the 50s also for those of you in Henderson, southwest part of the valley at Durango and Blue Diamond, about 55 degrees for your current temperature at this hour. It's cold in the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. Cold. And remember, there's a lot of people still without power there. 39 degrees in NYC right now. Now, that system we talked about, we've got this low right here, one right here. They're going to form what we call a nor'easter. Not good for the East Coast because it's going to bring rain, strong winds, and maybe even some upper elevation snow for those locales out there. Meanwhile, on our local radar, you can see the radar sweep going right here. We have no echoes coming back as far as rain goes. That could change, though, later on into the week as we have a big storm that'll be headed right towards us. What's it going to do? It's going to bring our 80s only to the 70s and eventually only in the upper 50s to mid-50s by the second half of the week. Look at the unsettled weather in the second half of the week with a slight chance of showers as we head into Veterans Day. Traffic update now with Brian.
Thursday to Friday, just off a cliff. And I was talking to Ted about this earlier. We're going to keep an eye on that paving work, I-15, from Prim all the way up to Sloan Interchange, because NDOT tells us we need those consistent 70s during the day to do the paving. That's why they're not doing it at night. But with 56 later in the week, maybe that will actually halt paving and help your drive a little bit. Some of you telling me it takes 2 hours to get from Prim to St. Rose Parkway. That normally takes about 30 minutes. 95 and Torrey Pines wide open right here. Great Monday morning drive. I-15 as we zip over to our camera at Sahara. Always check it in here because it's so accident prone, especially northbound. But right now it's a really good commute. Shauna, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. Well, today is the last full day the presidential campaigns will have to try to win over undecided voters. President Obama hopes to do that by holding rallies in several key swing states. And today is going to be in Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio before heading to Chicago for Election Day. And Mitt Romney will also be visiting a trio of states today. His campaign will make stops in Florida, Virginia, and New Hampshire. Romney will then head home to Boston so he can vote tomorrow. His running mate, vice presidential nominee Paul Ryan, will speak at a rally in Reno today.
Here in Nevada, the hotly contested U.S. Senate race is getting almost as much attention as the presidential race. If you happen to catch any commercial breaks, you will likely see political ads between Republican Senator Dean Heller and Democrat Representative Shelley Berkley. Heller is focusing on an ethics investigation that accuses Berkley of using her position to benefit her husband's medical practice. Congresswoman bashes Heller with ads trying to link him to a convicted drug trafficker and Ponzi scheme during his time as Nevada Secretary of State. Representatives from both campaigns say despite the mudslinging, they're confident voters will pick the right person for Nevada on Election Day.
Voters are getting a very clear choice between Shelley Berkley's commitment to creating good-paying jobs and Dean Heller's commitment to sending American jobs overseas. He has the wrong priority for Nevada families, and that's showing at the polls.
He understands this state, both the north and in the south. He's had an opportunity to serve people across the state. People are familiar with him. They know him as a man of character, and that will, I think, show on Election Day.
This is Heller's first election as a senator. He was appointed to the U.S. Senate seat by Governor Brian Sandoval when his predecessor, John Ensign, resigned amid a sex scandal in 2011. Berkley has served as a congresswoman representing Nevada for 14 years. You'll be able to keep up with all of tomorrow's races right here on air and online with 8 News Now. We'll be working closely with CBS News to cover, of course, the presidential race along with the Senate and House races and all of the local races as well. Our coverage will air throughout the day right here on air and online, beginning right here on 8 News Now tomorrow morning.
We're learning more about the 2 police shootings in just 2 days. The most recent happened on Saturday near Boulder Highway in Tropicana. The officers were on patrol when they heard gunshots. They came across what looked like a carjacking when the suspect pointed a gun at them, forcing them to open fire. The suspect is recovering at the hospital, and the officers have not yet been identified. But we do know the names of the officers involved in Friday's deadly shooting. Russell Ellsworth and Brandon Orris were called out to the Siegel Suites near Twain and Swenson. Apparently, a man was upset about being evicted. When they arrived, the man was threatening a woman. When he refused to put his weapons down, officers opened fire, killing him. Well, paying more to help Southern Nevada schools.
The way your vote tomorrow could mean more money for Clark County schools and how much homeowners will be asked to pony up. That's coming up. In the Sporting's 8 on Your Side report, Michelle joining us with a closer look at one of the big questions on the ballot in this year's election.
And this morning, we're going to be taking a look at question 2, which focuses on increasing property taxes to pay for school renovation. And Michelle has spoken with both sides of the issue. She's joining us now with more. It's becoming a little controversial here.
Yeah, we'll get right into it. Question 2 is actually asking you to approve a property tax increase. How much of one? Well, it will work out to be about 21 cents per $100 of value. That means if you have a home that's worth about $100,000, you're going to pay about $74 a year more than you did before. CCSD says the money is going to fix aging schools and to help education, but not everyone agrees.
We have 357 campuses in Clark County, and 222 of those campuses were built in the last 25 years. And by and large, those schools are in good shape. But we also have 30% of our schools that are 30 years or older, and 28 of those schools are 50 years or older. And those schools really need to have the attention.
If you look at the age of the Clark County school districts, they're only 22 years old on average. In the United States, the average school building is 50 years old. In New York, it's 80 years old. You know, if you needed a new school building to learn to read, the entire East Coast would be illiterate. Instead, we have, some very excellent facilities here in Clark County School District, but we don't have the educational achievement that we all want.
The Nevada Policy Research Institute is one organization that is not in support of the tax increase. They say taxing Nevada families even more during economic trouble hurts families and education. They also allege the school district has a proven record of wasting money, something they fear will happen again.
The big concern is that when you give the district money, like we've seen with the last bond campaign, they end up wasting a lot of it. From the last bond, they gave $5 million to the Smith Center, $2 million to the city of Henderson to build a pool. Just a couple months ago, they approved spending $6.6 million to build a gym at a school that already had one.
Well, the trustees are very serious about making sure taxpayers know how the money is going to be used, and so we have gone through a lot of preparation and identified specifically the schools that are in line to have the major renovations that are needed.
If approved, the money will go to improve 42 existing schools, replace 2 schools, and build 2 more new schools. The money will also be used to replace gymnasiums, and that's actually an area of contention because some rural schools with less than 300 kids are getting more than $11 million for the gyms. Now, I know this is a lot of info, so if you want to learn more about both sides, just head on over to the 8 on Your Side page. In my blog there, I have links to both sides of the issue, so you can really look it up and see how you want to vote tomorrow.
All right, that's great information. Thanks, Michelle. A lot of people are confused about those.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, let's get it over to the 2 guys, our comedy acts.
Boys today.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Come on, Ted. Be a little more excited.
Ted has been here since last Thursday. He hasn't got home.
No,
just doing he's a weather machine. He won't stop. You were here last night, right?
Yeah, I was here last night.
Okay, toughing it out, huh?
Yeah, but you know, my daughter, my newborn daughter, is keeping me up and awake and alert.
You're going to get well trained in the science of operating on very little sleep.
Yeah, I really am. Which makes me perfect for the morning show, right? A live look outside right now from our camera. This one courtesy of Mulaski Family Properties. You gotta love the sunrises out here. Look at that shot. Clear skies outside right now. Those are your winds right now. They are remaining nice and calm. They will pick up a little down the Colorado River. We're talking Searchlight all the way to Laughlin. Could get a little breezy at times, maybe even the lake too. Temperatures at this hour in the 50s for all of us here in Las Vegas. Cold up in Mount Charleston at 36 degrees. Boulder City at 70 even. And Blue Diamond currently at 46 degrees. That's chilly. Clear skies outside right now. You can see this clockwise flow in the jet stream. High pressure means it's in place right now, and that's why we see that clockwise flow, meaning none of that is going to reach us. Not going to get any rain from any of that, not at least the early part of the week. The second half of the week, though, we've got a big cold system that will be dropping in from the Gulf of Alaska. And that, my friends, is what's going to change our weather up this week for sure. What's the high going to be today? 82 degrees. Our record high is 84. So we're going to get near some record numbers for the early part of the week. And then we're going to drop our temperatures, maybe even 20 to 25 degrees by the second half of the week. By 8 p.m., it'll be 76 degrees, nice and cool for a nice little walk with the dog, or maybe in the stroller like you and I do now, I guess, right?
Absolutely. Get the double stroller out there all the time.
Double stroller.
I-15 in Spring Mountain. What a great commute we have today. Hope you're off to a good start. Buckle up and go, because wherever you go, I-15, 215, and 95, you're zipping along. Of course, the paving between Prim and Sloan continues starting at 7 a.m. I'm going to be all over that in about 7 minutes in the next traffic hit and give you all the details. 95 and Eastern showing a great open road commute. Speaking of 95 and Eastern, kind of a unique accident here over the weekend. Cale's got more.
Brian, thank you very much. Business should be back to normal today after a car slammed into a local donut shop. More details on that this morning. Take a look. This is the Winchells near 95 and Eastern. Witnesses say on Friday night the driver of the SUV came off the freeway and then slammed into the donut shop. The cause of the crash is under investigation. 5:45 now, a deadly day at a zoo.
And what a young boy was doing before falling into an enclosure filled with wild dogs. We'll bring you the story after the break.
This portion of 8 News Now was brought to you by Desert Automotive Group.
It's the song that won't go away.
It just won't go away. It's too much fun.
A huge party on the Las Vegas Strip is shrouded in mystery. These pictures were posted on Twitter from over the weekend. You may have noticed a massive stage set up in the empty lot next to the former Sahara Hotel and Casino. According to the Las Vegas Sun, celebrities flocked to the invite-only event. This is a look of what's left of the party. Maybe you could say they tore off the roof of the party. They're actually taking it down. Britney Spears, Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, and Paris Hilton, all the people you love, were all rumored to be there. And the band PSY even performed its mass hit Gangnam Style. The event featured a Ferris wheel and a 15-minute fireworks show as well, and we're still not quite sure what the heck it was.
No, and I saw it this weekend.
Yeah, I bet you Sam Nazarian had something to do with that.
Yes, right near us. I saw the lights going off. No, because I knew I didn't get the invite. So
it smells of a Sam Nazarian event, something to do with the the opening there at the Sahara.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Well, one day when they open, yes.
Yeah. I knew if I went, I'd probably be attacked by
Paris
security.
Hilton and Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
That's the way they do it. And PSY, he was there too.
PSY. All right, Gangnam Style. Outside right now, we've got clear skies. Beautiful sunrise this morning. This one courtesy Boulder Station. Outside in the 50s at this hour throughout the region. Take a look outside right now for our current temperatures. Winds are nice and calm. I threw around some of the neighborhoods here for the east side, the northwest, and also in Henderson there too. So temperatures are rather cool this morning. Let's go to the west coast satellite, show you the western seaboard. Looks like Seattle getting more rain, more clouds as this goes over that high that's in place right now. And that is the reason why we're staying at least in seasonally mild for this time of the year. 82 degrees today, sunny skies, normal is 72, our record is 84, and here is your 7-day forecast. Impressive in the mid-50s for Saturday with a slight chance of showers. Brian, let's get a check traffic.
Looking good, Ted. In fact, we've been looking good all morning. It's been very easy to get where you need to go today, and it will continue even in the heavily traveled area linking 95 and I-15. That very busy transition ramp is wide open. I-15 south continues to be great. Now, I told you just a few minutes ago that we'd update you again here on this big-time paving work that is slowing down so many of you, be it you work at the solar plant or you have family and friends that travel up northbound, and they arrived at your home complaining about the commute. It's because from Prim all the way to Sloan, you have northbound paving work from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have to work during the day to get those consistent 70s, although they won't have it later this week. So again, those lane closures start again at 7 a.m. today. Plan for big, long delays. Back to the desk.
All right, thanks, Brian. Well, when you are one of the stars of the massively popular Twilight series, being a vampire apparently runs in the family.
So you missed Halloween with, but your little daughter was a vampire, is that right?
Yeah, I didn't force her to be a vampire. She wanted to be a vampire.
Oh, right, yeah. So realistic.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, that is Peter Fasinelli. He showing off his daughter's Halloween threads. You can watch his full interview with Ellen today at 3 o'clock right here on Channel 3. And in case you didn't know, the final Twilight film opens next Friday. All the Twihards know about that. It's an Eclipse Part 2.
Is it really going to be the final though in today's
really
world
is.
of trying to milk money?
Well, that is the last of the book series, so until she writes a new one.
My money's on another movie.
A nurse with a notorious past.
Next at 6, the I-Team unveiling the path an ex-con took to land a job at a medical facility and the way he's accused of endangering his patients.
Plus, the candidate controversy a day before Election Day, the dispute over District 9 and the move a judge could make to settle the case today.
Helping a lending hand, the newest local effort to get the East Coast back on track after Superstorm Sandy.
And race to the finish, the last-minute push for votes on both sides of the presidential campaign.
And it is a hot-button ballot issue in Clark County. We're on your side explaining the pros and cons behind an initiative for Clark County schools.
Welcome to a brighter morning. This is 8 News Now with Cale and Shauna. Neighborhood weather with Sherry. And Beat the Traffic with Brian.
Well, good morning. Time right now is 6 a.m. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Shauna Khorrami.
I'm Cale Ramaker. It's been nearly a week since Superstorm Sandy slammed into the Northeast, and the damage could turn from bad to worse later in the week.
And forecasters are predicting a second storm could roll through some already hard-hit areas, like here on Rockaway Beach. You're taking a look at that right now. And right now, the storm is expected to hit on Wednesday, and forecasters say that it will be a typical nor'easter with snow and strong wind gusts. Not good news for them.
Well, help is on the way from Nevada this morning. NV Energy crews are on board a Air Force cargo plane in flight to Long Island right now. They took off earlier this morning with 2 more planes about ready to take off from Nellis as well. Cassandra Garcia is live at Nellis Air Force Base this morning with one of those cargo planes behind you. Cassandra?
That's correct. One of those planes that you talked about left here at 3:30 this morning. It was carrying 3 trucks and NV Energy crews. The one you see behind me is the C-17. It's also carrying crews, and if you take a look at the video that we shot a little bit earlier this morning, it was being loaded up with a bucket truck and other supplies and crews that, of course, are going to be very useful and helpful to the East Coast. That is just the second plane that will be loaded. One more is expected later on this afternoon. In total, NV Energy is sending 3 crews, 2 from southern Nevada and 1 from northern Nevada to the East Coast. Superstorm Sandy caused 1 million power outages in the Long Island Power Authority territory. That company serves 1.1 million people in New York. And NV Energy tells us that they will be out there assessing the damage for about a week, helping restore energy and power and pretty much assess and help in any way that they can. Like we said earlier, the last one of the 3 aircrafts is expected here later on this afternoon, and we will be here a little bit later with more information from NV Energy. Reporting from Nellis Air Force Base, Cassandra Garcia, 8 News Now.
All right, thanks, Cassandra. The local Red Cross is asking for your help to make up for blood shortages in the wake of Superstorm Sandy. The storm forced the cancellation of blood drives along the East Coast, creating a shortage of at least 9,000 blood and platelet donations. You can make a difference by rolling up your sleeves at one of the 2 blood drives this week. One is from noon to 4 today at the Lowe's on Boulder Highway, and the second is tomorrow at the Lowe's on East Charleston at the same time.
Ted, in for Sherry this morning, and we talked about the weather in the Northeast changing.
Yeah.
He's got some changes.
We've got some changes locally, too.
We got changes here. Luckily not a nor'easter, but, we are going to see those temperatures drop from the 80s to the upper 50s. You're going to feel it by this weekend. Live look outside. I feel like I'm looking out at the balcony right now with the nice little sunrise out there. Very few clouds off in the distance. Currently in the 50s to even 60 even across the valley at this hour. Nellis checking in about 53 degrees right now. Meanwhile, we're taking a look as we skip ahead here. You can see the numbers all across the region here in the 60s. Cold way up in the Twin Cities and also in Chicago, 38 degrees. New York, only 41 degrees for their current temperature. So here's what you can expect for the day today, 77 by lunchtime. The high today, 82 degrees. We'll show you a 7-day forecast in just a couple minutes. Let's head on over to Brian.
Well, speaking of weather, we need daily 70s to get this paving work done. Will it continue? Now, today, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., it'll definitely continue. It's I-15 north all the way from Prim up northbound to Sloan. We're talking about big-time delays. Those that work at the solar plant, those that travel northbound heading towards the valley. It's so frustrating. So, again, that daily work is happening. 7 a.m. It's going to start again today. Plan for extra time. Some people saying a 30-minute drive between Prim up to St. Rose Parkway taking 2 hours. 95 Charleston Curve here, northbound looking good. We'll kind of move across the valley, head over to the Rainbow Curve. Southbound, just delightful. I-15 between Lake Mead and Cheyenne, where you have the intermittent lane closures due to the North 5th Street bridge work. That's looking good, as is your Spaghetti Bowl. Drive southbound on I-15. Let's get up to Ken in Chopper 8. He's over 95 in Eastern. Good morning, Ken.
And good morning to you. Right now, we're taking a look here along the 95 freeway. If you're making your way into downtown Las Vegas from Eastern Avenue and heading up the hill towards Las Vegas Boulevard, you're going to find no problems here with our live shot from Chopper 8 here. As I kind of zoom in, we're actually hovering way back near the Charleston Curve, and we can zoom in for a few miles here with this camera. Great camera, but right now things are looking just as great and no problems here along 95. I-15 at the Spaghetti Bowl so far is checking in with no problems at all. So we're starting out Monday on a really nice note. We'll send it back to you, Cale.
All right, that's good news, Ken. Thanks. 6:05, a Valley man fighting for his life right now after a shootout in North Las Vegas. Police tell us it happened overnight around 1:30 near Gowan and Clayton. Officers say 2 men exchanged gunfire in an apartment. One of them was shot multiple times. That man is in critical condition right now at UMC. The other person involved in the shooting was not injured, and police have detained him for further questioning. A man convicted of driving drunk when he hit and killed a young girl last Halloween could learn his fate later today. In fact, he likely will. Justin Khorrami is scheduled for sentencing at 8:30 this morning. He admitted to drinking and taking pain pills before the crash that killed Faith Love as she was trick-or-treating. While he was out on bail from that case, Khorrami was arrested for another DUI just this September. After that, his bail was revoked.
Well, another search for a missing Las Vegas cab driver turned up unsuccessful. Red Rock search and rescue crews scoured this area near Lake Las Vegas over the weekend. They were searching for any sign of Keith Goldberg. He was last seen in January and is believed to have been murdered. The group has already searched a large area of the valley and the surrounding desert over the past few months, and they've said that they've no plans to stop looking until Goldberg is found. There's also no place left to search. Police believe that these 2 people, Christopher and Georgine Ross, had a hand in Goldberg's disappearance. I'm sorry, we don't have a picture up for you, but they are both in jail charged with murder.
A state assembly candidate could find out if he can legally represent his district today. A judge is expected to rule in the case of Democratic District 9 candidate Andrew Martin. There he is in court Friday for a hearing determining his residency. Martin is accused of living outside of his jurisdiction. District 9 includes the area of town near Russell and Sunset, close to the 215.
And with Election Day tomorrow, the push is on the last minute to get the last-minute votes out. Local volunteers for both presidential campaigns are doing everything they can to grab those undecided voters. Today, they're going to be going door to door and making phone calls to encourage people to vote, so don't be surprised if someone knocks on your door. Campaign managers for both Mitt Romney and President Obama say that with it being such a close race, they really want voters to understand the differences between the candidates.
This is an election that's going to come down to hundreds of votes. And folks here in Nevada, both through their volunteer hours and their vote, can make a huge difference in which way Nevada casts its electoral votes in November. So, you know, again, we're looking very forward to November 6th. Folks here have been working very, very hard.
I think the groundwork, the fundamental groundwork is the same from 2008. I mean, it's really knocking on doors. It's making sure voters are aware of the difference between the two candidates and just making sure people get to the polls, both during early vote and on Election Day.
Both campaigns agree that the economy and jobs are the most important issues to Nevadans. Each says that their candidate is the one who can create better economic times.
6:08, and the president will be in 3 battleground states today on the final day of campaigning: Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio. Meantime, here, his local volunteers will be working one last time to rally support. They plan to lead a Get Out the Vote blitz. They'll canvass all areas of the valley starting at 9:30 this morning and going until 4:30 this afternoon. Part of the Romney-Ryan campaign will also focus on Nevada today. Mitt Romney's son, Craig, will be at the East Las Vegas Victory office around 2:30 this afternoon to meet with supporters. He'll then head to the campaign's Henderson office around 4:40. And Romney's running mate, Wisconsin Representative Paul Ryan, will be in Reno this morning. He is scheduled to stop at the airport with Governor Brian Sandoval. Mitt Romney will campaign back east in Florida, Virginia, and finishing in New Hampshire.
And we want to remind you that 8 News Now is your home for election coverage tomorrow. We're going to work with CBS News to cover all the races from the presidential race to the U.S. Senate and House, along with local elections as well. Coverage runs throughout the day and night right here on Channel 8 and 8newsnow.com, so don't miss out on that. Well, a big question on some ballots have some voters concerned.
We're talking about question 2 for Clark County voters, and it involves the school district. Michelle is on your side next to explain where the money will go if the issue passes. Welcome back at 6:12, and 3 new job listings from Job Connect and 8 News Now this morning. First, a customer service clerk, $10 an hour. You need a high school diploma or GED. There's an opening for an administrative assistant. The job tops out at $13 an hour, and you need a year of experience to apply. Finally, a guest services contact center agent with a year of experience, and that pays $12 an hour. More information on these jobs and more at our 8 News Now website.
Well, tennis fans, how would you like to see some of the game's greatest players hit the court for free? Well, guess what? Now you can, thanks to 8 News Now. Every day this week, we are giving away a pair of tickets to the CTCA Championships. They are taking over Mandalay Bay on November 17th. And to sign up, go to our 8 News Now Facebook page. We're going to announce today's winner just before 7 o'clock.
Quiet out there, Brian.
You know what? We've had an accident-free morning.
Now it's going to be over.
Did you guys see that? Hey, Colette right there. Well, sometimes that's a better-looking thing than my big noggin. But yeah, accident-free. We'll check in now with what the big issue is.
Wonder how much you paid to put that on there real quick, right?
It's way... It's way down south, everybody. I've been talking about this. I've never heard so many emails from just irate folks saying, this is taking forever. What I'm talking about is this big-time paving work from all the way down in Prim to the Sloan interchange affects you northbound. And it's during the day, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's what's really driving people crazy. They need the daytime temps to get the consistent 70s. Ted will have more if that will continue or not. We're going to see if maybe if it's cooler, if that'll halt the work. But again, it'll be happening today between Prim and the Sloan interchange, way up to the northern beltway where Ken is along 215 and north today. And Ken, you know all about this work near Prim. It's really ticking people off.
It is, and you know, and I was joking with you off the air, Brian. I'll share with everybody. I was saying they ought to have a new town next to Prim called Proper, so we could have Prim and Proper right next to each other. But yeah, that's been rough for folks, and I get text messages and tweets from people in the afternoons complaining about it, all that construction down there in the Prim area, which is definitely not proper for people coming in from California. All right, we're up here at the 215 right here at Tenaya Way. They have actually shifted traffic now where it goes underneath the new bridge. That's one of the first of the new overpasses that have actually been constructed up here, part of a $116 $16 million widening of the Beltway project. It won't be done until 2014, unfortunately. It goes from US 95 all the way over to past Decatur. Guys, we'll send it back downstairs to you, or rather to Sherry. Huh? Good morning to you, Sherry.
Hi, Ken. Hi. Hi. Ken, I got all your voicemail messages, by the way, too. So, yes, you can babysit my kid, but no, you cannot take her to a buffet. Okay, she doesn't have teeth yet. So, outside right now, good-looking shot. Clear skies. Beautiful outside with temperatures in the 60s to upper 50s around town. Let's show you what's like outside the valley. Give you some love there in Mount Charleston, 36 degrees. Boulder City at 68. Pahrump only in the 40s right now. And Prim at 45 degrees. Boulder City, like we said, in the 60s at this hour. We're clear right now as far as the region goes. And our high for the day today, 82 degrees. Sunny skies, the record 84. So we're getting near those record numbers. Not going to reach it. We got a big cold front moving in towards the end of the week. Neighborhood weather here on 8 News Now.
Time for this morning's 8 on Your Side report. Michelle joining us to take a closer look at question number 2 on the Clark County ballot. It focuses on adding a property tax for the next 6 years for CCSD to use for renovations.
And parents have asked Michelle to find out how the tax would or would not benefit their children. And she talked to people on both sides of the issue. What did you find out, Michelle?
Well, I get a lot of calls and emails about question 2 from CCSD. Parents really do care about what their kids are going through. And Lana Duprell is a parent who has some concerns about her child's classroom environment. And she wanted to know more about question 2 on the ballot and if it would really help her kid's school.
Okay, well, what do you want, bologna and cheese?
Lana Duprell has her hands full most mornings with her 4 kids.
School hungry, Eva.
But their education is a top priority. Although recently, she's had concerns as to whether or not CCSD was giving her kids their best.
My concern is overcrowding.
Her kindergartner goes to Eisenberg Elementary, and they recently lost a teacher, so the classes combined.
She's not gonna get the attention that she needs.
So Lana wanted to know if the pay-as-you-go ballot measure would help her kids. The property tax increase will give more than $600 million to CCSD. 92% of the cash is for renovations at these schools. Eisenberg isn't on the list. However, 8% is going to help overcrowding. But again, that money isn't designated for Lana's kids. CCSD says they're using the money in the most vulnerable areas and schools.
We also have that 30% of our schools that are so aging that the systems in those schools really need to be updated so that we don't have to really be just trying to band-aid things together all the time.
Associate Superintendent Joyce Halderman explains money will mainly be used to fix electrical systems, air conditioners, and leaks. You may recall at the beginning of the school year, there were several air conditioners that malfunctioned at schools. CCSD says they addressed the problems as quickly as they could. But with the budget cuts they faced, it took time.
We've had $600 million of budget cuts over the last 4 years, and the maintenance department isn't immune to those budget cuts.
But if you look closely at which schools are getting money for repairs, Diskin and Gregson Elementary Schools, 2 that had AC problems this year, aren't on the list. That doesn't sit well with Lana either. After doing her research, Lana has decided to vote no.
I mean, if it was a tax that was going to go into for our teachers or for our classrooms or for where it's really needed, I would be all for it.
CCSD counters fixing buildings does affect the learning environment.
So we really do need to take care of these aging systems in some of our most vulnerable schools so our students don't have to worry about having their instruction time jeopardized because either the AC doesn't work.
And now it's time for you to decide. So for more information on both sides of the issue, just head on over to my blog on the 8 on Your Side page. I've got information from both sides there so you can make an informed decision.
All right, well, we love more information the better, right?
Yes.
Thanks, Michelle.
Michelle, thank you. An ex-con working as a registered nurse.
The I-Team unveils how he got hired and the explosive new allegations he's facing.
Plus, left turn lane delays complicating the commute for workers on the Strip. Brian gets engineers to investigate. He unveils what they found out next and what's driving you crazy.
Beat the Traffic is brought to you by attorney Edward M. Bernstein. Accident? Injury? Enough said. Call Ed.
an explosive story involving a registered sex offender working as a nurse right here in southern Nevada. I had the chance to talk with the I-Team's Colleen McCarty about her investigation airing tonight. So, Colleen, we are all aware of sexual predators that lurk in our community, but you would never expect to find one in a medical facility giving care to people.
Right. We have uncovered a guy who has been working as a nurse in our community for the last 30 years. And he was a convicted sex offender the day he walked into the nursing board's office to apply for a license. This man has been working with children. He has been working in the psychiatric facilities, some of our most vulnerable folks. And yet he seems to have fallen through every single crack that our system provides. So the first part we're going to talk about is his criminal case. He's accused of sexually assaulting a little girl, a 10-year-old girl, at Monte Vista Hospital. That case is now more than 5 years old, and it has yet to be resolved, one way or the other. So this criminal case is open. During this entire time, or almost the entire time, this man has continued to work for a nurse, as a nurse while he was out on bail.
And out in the open. I mean, everybody knows that this man has been convicted of a sexual assault.
Right. Our investigation has shown that the majority of his jobs, he put the prior sex offense on his job application, and people hired him anyway. And while he's been out on bail for the criminal case, he has been accused of now a second criminal case involving 3 new victims, again, working in his capacity as a nurse.
All right, something that everybody needs to be aware of out there. And you can catch Colleen's 2-part story tonight at 5 and 11 o'clock.
Elton John has won a legal war over the lyrics to his hit song, Nikita. An Illinois judge has dismissed a lawsuit against the singer. A songwriter named Guy Hobbs sued Elton back in April. This is not Nikita we're listening to, by the way. Hobbs claimed Elton stole lyrics he wrote for a song called Natasha and used them to rewrite Nikita. The song topped the charts in 1985, long after Benny and the Jets hit the charts. Elton argued the theme of Natasha was too general to win copyright protection, so the judge agreed.
That's
Brian
one of
in
my
the
favorites,
traffic.
though. Benny in the Jets. What?
Brian in the traffic.
Yes, Brian in the traffic.
Get it?
Shauna, you can sing it. That's right, Brian in the traffic.
Benny in the
There it is. I can't hit any notes. Question today, heading south on Koval and turning left on Flamingo. It's inefficient. There's 2 left turn lanes, but the green turn arrow is too short for turn lanes to empty, with employees from the Venetian, Palazzo, Sands Convention Center and Wynn using this when leaving. It seems a situation that could be improved. Frank, I asked RTC techs to look into this, and it all comes down to mathematics. Flamingo is one of the heaviest traveled corridors in the valley. 55,000 cars travel on this road daily. RTC engineers determined that as of right now, any additional green signal time added to that Koval turn light would negatively impact the coordination of the Flamingo signal. Basically, it would cause even more congestion, so this turn from Koval will have its delays. They do time the signal for commuter hours, but employee shifts on the strip vary so much. This, of course, does not always help. So you have to plan for a long left here. Frank, I know you're watching. We tried. I'm sorry we couldn't be of more help. Now, what's driving you crazy? Send the email to traffic8@8newsnow.com. Back over to the desk.
Well, an Idaho scientist is setting out to answer a question that's puzzled mankind for years. Where is Bigfoot? And in a strange twist, he has turned his sights towards the sky. Jeffrey Meldrum plans to float a blimp over several mountain ranges in the Pacific Northwest to search for Bigfoot. He started this website looking for donations. Meldrum estimates that it's going to cost about $300,000 to create the blimp. It will be remote controlled and carry a thermal imaging camera to hopefully capture images of Bigfoot. Really?
Maybe he'll see pigs fly while he's looking.
Well, anyhow, a mission on the move in the wake of Superstorm Sandy.
The crew launching this morning from Nellis Air Force Base and what they hope to accomplish once they land on the East Coast. Live report coming up at the bottom of the hour.
A local crew responds to crisis. The group heading for the East Coast this morning and their mission when they get there.
An intense U.S. Senate race getting more intense. New allegations flying between Dean Heller and Shelley Berkeley.
And promising a problem-free poll experience, a situation that has the Secretary of State, Ross Miller, on the defensive before Election Day.
Welcome to a brighter morning. This is 8 News Now with Cale and Shauna. Neighborhood weather with Sherry and Beat the Traffic with Brian.
And happy Monday morning, just about to turn 6:30. Thank you for joining us. I'm Cale, Ramaker.
And I'm Shauna, Khorrami. New York City commuters are in the middle of a manic Monday as they start their first full week of work since Superstorm Sandy hit.
Officials in New York say the subway system continues to, get its way back, but that doesn't mean a stop to all the headaches. These pictures this morning on a Monday morning from New Jersey to New York, still plenty of long lines for buses and ferries as workers head into Manhattan. And it's not just workers on the move, but kids too, as New York schools reopen today. It all could be short-lived, though. A nor'easter is threatening to hit areas already affected by Sandy beginning on Wednesday.
And NV Energy, with the help of Nellis Air Force Base, is sending help to New York. Crews are on their way to help Long Island get their power turned back on. And one of the 3 planes have already taken off this morning. Cassandra Garcia live at Nellis with the latest. The second one is scheduled to take off sometime soon, right, Cassandra?
Well, that's correct. The second the C-17 is right behind me here. For about the past hour, it's been loading up with bucket trucks and crews ready to make their way to the East Coast. And joining us right now is Andrea Smith. She's with NV Energy. Here a little bit to tell us what exactly crews will be doing when they hit the ground.
They're not completely sure what they're going to be doing, but the basics of restoration of power for the folks in Long Island. They'll probably be erecting poles, hanging wire, reconnecting homes, making sure that they get everybody back in power.
And can you give us an indication as to how many crews will be out there, and also an extent of the damage that they will be looking at?
Well, once they get on the ground, we'll get a better idea of the scale of what the damage is back there. We have a total of 18 crew members going back, 11 here from Southern Nevada, 8 from our sister utility in Northern Nevada, with 12 line and service trucks headed back there today.
All right, well, thank you so much. And also, there is one other plane expected to land here at Nellis Air Force Base. That's going to happen a little bit later this afternoon. And of course, that plane will also be taking supplies and help over to the East Coast. Reporting live from Nellis Air Force Base, Cassandra Garcia, 8 News Now.
Cassandra, thanks. 6:31 now. Sandy, of course, changed the course for runners who were in New York to take part in the New York City Marathon over the weekend. It was abruptly canceled midday Friday, but many runners had already flown to New York. So some of them showed up on Staten Island over the weekend to deliver supplies to relief centers. Staten Island was set to be the starting borough for the annual marathon. Some folks decided to heck with it anyway. They just pounded the pavement themselves. Thousands created their own marathon routes through Central Park. Looked like it was a nice weekend there.
Yeah, it was nice and sunny for folks out there. And big point of pride for New Yorkers right now is that marathon, I think. And head over to Ted, see what's happening here. Our weather's cooling down.
Yeah, I think you're going to like the forecast because we're going to be a little warmer the early part of the week, but the second half, if you like the cooler weather, that's what's going to happen. Unseasonable conditions happening later on in the week. Live look outside there was a look from one of our cameras, clear skies, but I want to pinpoint what's going on in the national weather. I'm going to go to our, what we call the infrared satellite so you can see what's happening. This low right here spinning. We've got another one up here in Canada. The two are going to merge together down here in the deep south. The reason I'm showing that to you is it's going to form that nor'easter that's going to cause all sorts of problems for the northeast and the mid-Atlantic states, and they don't need any of that, especially with what happened there lately. Mid-50s right now for our current temperatures outside. Meanwhile, this is what we're looking at for the high for the day today. Temperatures will get around the low 80s. Mild conditions. Looks like we got clear sunny skies. Your 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit. Let's head on over to Big Brian with our traffic update.
All right, thanks so much, Ted. I-15, we're hitting this one hard today to try to alert you. You may have a 2-hour drive to move over a 30-minute period. There's paving work going on all the way from Prim at State Line up to Sloan, and people are saying by the time they get to St. Rose Parkway, they check the clock, and it's taking them 2 hours, and that's because of lane restrictions in this very peak travel time of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. They need the 70s temperatures to do this. We know they'll get them today. Ted just told us. So heads up, plan for your commute. Here we are, I-15 Charleston, southbound drive on the right side of your TV. Just starting to get our first delays of the day. Up to Ken and Chopper. Cheyenne and Simmons is his location with an accident right there, Ken.
Yeah, we do have some injuries involved in the accident here down below as it's on the eastbound side here of Cheyenne, just as you approach Simmons, right here on the north side of the North Las Vegas Airport. We're watching somebody being treated here down below us here. They're getting ready to be loaded up into the ambulance, but it looks like we got a total of 2 cars involved. North Las Vegas police are on the scene, not causing any major delays. That's the good news as you make your way past the scene. And Shauna will send it back downstairs to you.
All right, Ken. Well, the countdown to Election Day may be down to just hours now, but that doesn't mean the presidential candidates are slowing down. President Obama has a full day of campaigning planned with rallies in 3 battleground states, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio. Local supporters are also going to be canvassing the Valley from 9:30 to 4:30 for a Get Out the Vote blitz. And Mitt Romney will also focus on battleground states today. He's going to be traveling along the East Coast for rallies in Florida, Virginia, and New Hampshire. His son, Craig Romney, will visit supporters here in Las Vegas and Henderson, while his running mate, Paul Ryan, will campaign in Reno this morning.
And here in Nevada, the hotly contested U.S. Senate race getting plenty of attention as well, almost as much as the presidential race. If you happen to catch any commercial breaks, you've seen the political ads between Senator Dean Heller and Democrat Representative Shelley Berkley. Heller has been focusing on an ethics investigation against Berkley, while she is bashing Senator Heller with ads trying to tie him to a Ponzi scheme during his time as Nevada Secretary of State. Representatives from both campaigns say despite all the mudslinging, they're confident voters will pick the right person.
Voters are getting a very clear choice between Shelley Berkley's commitment to creating good-paying jobs and Dean Heller's commitment to sending American jobs overseas. He has the wrong priority for Nevada families, and that's showing at the polls.
He understands this state, both the North and in the South. He's had an opportunity to serve people across the state. People are familiar with him. They know him as a man of character, and that will, I think, show on Election Day.
Dean Heller was appointed to the Senate by the governor when his predecessor, John Ensign, resigned amid a sex scandal in 2011. Berkley has served as a Nevada congresswoman for the last 14 years.
Well, Nevada Secretary of State is taking a stand against voter fraud. He spoke out over the weekend after a criminal complaint was filed in Clark County on Friday. Roxanne Rubin is accused of voting at 2 different polling locations on the same day. Poll workers questioned her when a database showed that she'd already voted. Rubin denied that. Secretary of State Ross Miller says poll workers will not tolerate anything suspicious tomorrow.
And we just want to take a moment to remind you, 8 News Now, hopefully you're home for election coverage throughout tomorrow and tomorrow night and into Wednesday morning, depending on how it all shakes out. We'll work closely with CBS News to cover all of the races, obviously, from the president to the U.S. Senate and House, along with all of the local elections here. Coverage runs throughout the day and night right here on Channel 8, and also we'll stream everything live online on 8newsnow.com.
Well, a leap unlike any other.
The reason this skydiving venture is making the couple the talk of their own town. Coming up.
And as we head to break, we're taking a live look right now of some folks playing basketball at the Desert Horizons Park in North Las Vegas. What a gorgeous morning already.
How about walking after a basketball?
Yeah, Joel, trying to play basketball.
I must have hit the hard.
There it is. He's got it back. He's got it back. He's going back. There we go. He's bouncing it. Well, when one couple took the plunge, they literally really took the plunge. The couple from Utah got married at 13,000 feet and celebrated by jumping out of a plane. Alan and Emily Wood's wedding was an intimate affair. You can imagine it only included the bride and groom, 2 bridesmaids, and the pastor. And then they all jumped together. Now, I have been a bridesmaid before, but let me just tell you,
you wouldn't have been one.
I would not have. I would have had to say, no way.
How could they hear each other on the way down? You know, were they doing the vows with the wind rushing by? I don't know.
Great question. I don't know, guys.
Yeah, that might alter the fashion a little bit of the wedding dress. Hey, we got to give this guy a chance to redeem himself, right? We're going to go from a skydiving couple. Believe it or not, he's chasing the basketball again there. For goodness sake, this guy's got to get the ball and just go ahead and shoot it right at the basket. He's kind of throwing it all over.
He's going to do it right
now, we're going to see if he can actually, live on 8 News Now, not knowing he's on 8 News Now, redeem himself with a shot. Come on, young man. Go ahead and throw it up there. Ted's going to play some serious defense here. We'll step out of your way. Go ahead, take that shot. You're on Channel 8 right now. There it is. And no,
it worked. It worked. Nice. Here's a live look outside right now. Temperatures in the 60s. Hey, I'll be playing hoops outside right now, too. Numbers are looking good outside at this hour throughout the region. High pressure in place is going to bring us back into the 80s, above average for this time of the year. But that big L you see out there in the Pacific, that's the area of low pressure that's going to head on in and actually change up our weather. We think by Thursday we'll see the effects of it in the form of wind. 82 degrees today, sunny skies. Our record is 84. We're getting close to that. 80s early on the week. 70s Thursday with wind, and then only in the 50s as we head into the weekend. Big Brian, how's the roads look?
Well, I'm looking at your temperatures. We'll get to the paving work. Hey, I got his rebound right here. There you go, Ted. I-15 north between Prim and Sloan. You need 70s to do this paving work. Ted just showed that 56 later in the week. We're checking in with NDOT to see if that will halt or stop that work that's going on. But today it's going to happen, so get ready for big-time delays as you move northbound between Prim and Sloan. Heading to the Valley-Charleston curve is looking good, and we're moving across, going over to the Rainbow curve southbound, also nice. Up to Ken and Chopper 8 near Cheyenne and Simmons with an update on that injury crash. Ken?
Yeah, it's still blocking the right-hand lane over here. This is going to be on Cheyenne as you go eastbound, just approaching Simmons. Not too far from the park we were just hovering over here. If you're going to be traveling eastbound, you're going to have to stay left to get around the crash there. Looks like they're still attending to one person inside that vehicle right down there below us, but not causing any major delays. That's one bit of good news. And US 95, you'll find a little bit of slowing. I was just checking that out right around the Rainbow curve, and then you'll have more delays right around to the Spaghetti Bowl. All right, Cale, we'll send it back downstairs to you.
Ken, thanks. 643. The names of the police officers involved in the Valley's latest police shooting should be released at some time today. On Saturday, the officers came across a possible carjacking near Boulder Highway in Tropicana when police say the suspect pointed a gun at them. The officers say they were forced to fire, shooting the man. He was injured, taken to a nearby hospital, and is expected to survive. There are unanswered questions this morning after a deadly apartment fire. A woman died Saturday when an apartment at the Foothills Village apartment complex caught on fire. Neighbors tell us the woman was disabled and couldn't get out in time. The cause of the fire and where it all started, that's all under investigation. Breaking down both sides of a pretty contentious ballot issue.
Yeah, what's on the line with question 2 and the way Clark County schools plan to use the money if it passes?
Michelle will be up in a moment. First, it's 6:44 on Monday morning.
These are the days when you wish your bed was on.
In this morning's 8 on Your Side report, Michelle is taking a closer look at question 2 on the ballot that you're going to be casting tomorrow. You may have heard about it.
Yeah, question 2 focuses on increasing property taxes to pay for school renovations. Michelle has spoken with both sides of the issue, and, well, there certainly are two sides here.
There absolutely is. As you said, question 2 is asking you to approve a property tax increase. How much? Well, 21 cents per $100 of value. That means if you have a home that's worth about $100,000, you're going to pay about $74 a year more than you did before. CCSD says the money is going to fix aging schools and help education, but not everyone agrees.
We have 357 campuses in Clark County, and 222 of those campuses were built in the last 25 years. And by and large, those schools are in good shape. But we also have 30% of our schools that are 30 years or older, and 28 of those schools are 50 years or older. And those schools really need to have the attention.
If you look at the age of the Clark County school districts, they're only 22 years old on average. In the United States, the average school building is 50 years old. In New York, it's 80 years old. You know, if you needed a new school building to learn to read, the entire East Coast would be illiterate. Instead, we have, some very excellent facilities here in Clark County School District, but we don't have the educational achievement that we all want.
The Nevada Policy Research Institute is one organization that is not in support of the tax increase. They say taxing Nevada families even more during economic trouble hurts families and education. They also allege the school district has a proven record of wasting money, something they fear will happen again.
The big concern is that when you give the district money, like we've seen with the last bond campaign, they end up wasting a lot of it. From the last bond, they gave $5 million to the Smith Center, $2 million to the city of Henderson to build a pool. Just a couple months ago, they approved spending $6.6 million to build a gym at a school that already had one.
Well, the trustees are very serious about making sure taxpayers know how the money is going to be used, and so we have gone through a lot of preparation and identified specifically the schools that are in line to have the major renovations that are needed.
If approved, the money will go to improve 42 existing schools, replace 2 schools, and build 2 more new schools. The money will also be used to replace gymnasiums, and that's an area of contention because some rural schools with less than 300 kids are getting more than $11 million for gyms. Now, I know this is a lot of information, so if you want to look at it more closely, just head over to the blog on the 8 on Your Side page, and there you can get links from both sides of the issue and make an informed choice.
Get the specifics.
Better make sure you read it tonight.
Yeah. Yes. Time is running out here.
Thanks, Michelle.
A surprising trend with pump prices.
Hey, it's good news for a change. The factor's helping drive down the prices at the pump. 6:49, we're coming right back.
This portion of 8 News Now is brought to you by CenturyLink.
Ted looks good for a man that hasn't slept.
Yeah, exactly.
He does, and he's so chipper.
Man, yeah, I know. I need to be chipper. But, you know, lack of sleep, but I love my daughter so much I can't wait to go home and see her.
And you love your job so much that you're in for Sherry today.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Live look outside, guys. You know what? We've got some great weather this week, but big changes for the weekend. We've been talking about it. We'll show you what's going on in just a sec, but a live look outside from a camera. This one at Boulder Station with blue skies outside. Let's get to the numbers right now where the winds are calm here. We're currently in the upper 50s to low 60s, so the numbers slowly but surely starting to go up. Pahrump at 50 even. Boulder City currently at 69 degrees. Chilly at Blue Diamond, you're at 46 degrees. Winds aren't going to pick up too much here. They'll be a little breezy at times down the Colorado River. That's Searchlight. That's also down in Laughlin, too. 83 degrees for tomorrow. I think the high for the day will be 82 degrees under clear, sunny skies. But take a look for the week ahead. Windy conditions for Thursday, signifying a change. We'll talk more on that a little later on. Brian, we'll send it over to you, buddy.
Yeah, looking at those windy conditions on Thursday because you need the 70s to pave I-15 northbound, the paving between Prim all the way to the Sloan interchange. So we've already asked NDOT, and they've already said they'll check whether or not that will stop those lane restrictions. Exit I-15 south here at Blue Diamond, live outside, showing some delays. They've kicked in. If you haven't left home yet, here they are. I-15 joining 95 southbound, kind of locked up there as you head down towards Bonneville, Charleston, and ultimately Sahara. And coming around southbound 95 with the Rainbow Curve, actually pretty good right now up to Ken and Chopper 8. He's in the South Valley at the I-15 and 215 interchange. Ken?
Yeah, you had all the bad news there with the traffic at the Spaghetti Bowl. I got the good news down here in the southern end of the valley here along Interstate 15. There was reports of an accident along Interstate 15 right around Blue Diamond Road. We couldn't find it here, and there's definitely no delays. So if you live down in the southern end of the valley around Silverado Ranch or Southern Highlands and heading northbound, you're going to find a wide open drive all the way up here to the 215. And really, northbound is wide open all the way through the Spaghetti Bowl. Only that pesky southbound right there at the Spaghetti Bowl. Cale will send it back downstairs to you.
Ken, thanks. 6:54. It's not so painful at the pump anymore, at least in most of the country, because the average price of a gallon of gas has gone down nearly 21 cents nationwide since late October. That's the biggest drop in 4 years. The national average this morning sits at $3.47 a gallon. However, Southern Nevada has yet to catch up. We're still paying $3.69 a gallon. Falling oil prices and obviously the seasonal less demand for gas helping with the price drop. Let's get Nevada involved in that.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be nice.
Get our prices down.
We are sending you to see some tennis greats.
That is right. Find out if you are this week's first winner of our CTCA Championships contest next. That's coming up right after the break, so stay tuned for that.
This is 8 News Now, and Las Vegas is our home.
6:57 and Monday morning. Let's recap this morning's top stories.
Yeah, local crews from NV Energy are on board cargo planes heading to Long Island this morning to help after Superstorm Sandy. They are sending 3 crews, 2 from Southern Nevada and 1 from Northern Nevada to help get the lights back on out there. 2 planes have already taken off. A 3rd is going to head out this afternoon. So Justin Carmonica is scheduled to be sentenced at 8:30 this morning. He hit and killed a little girl while she was out trick-or-treating last year. He admitted to taking pain pills and also drinking before the crash. A judge revoked his bail after a 2nd DUI arrest this September.
Local volunteers will be out working in the 11th hour to get out the vote. Supporters for President Obama say they will canvass the valley from 9:30 to 4:30. The president will be in 3 battleground states, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio, before returning to Chicago for Election Day. Republican challenger, former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney, will be represented in Nevada today. One of his sons, Craig, will be in Las Vegas and Henderson this afternoon. Before that, Romney's running mate, Wisconsin Representative Paul Ryan, will start his last day of campaigning in Reno with an appearance with the governor. Mitt Romney will be in Florida, Virginia, and New Hampshire before he retires to Boston for Election Day.
All right, well, it is now time to announce the winner of today's contest, who's going to get to go see some tennis greats hit the court for free.
For free.
Free.
Congratulations
No
to
money.
we're gonna say here it's either Izzy or Izzy. Curtis.
Izzy. I think so. EI. Izzy.
Well, regardless, you won a pair of tickets to the CTCA Championships at Mandalay Bay, November 17th. And if you didn't get a chance to win today, you have 4 more chances this week. Sign up on our 8 News Now Facebook page and then find out if you're a winner at this time every day this week.
Izzy or Izzy?
There was a debate going on backstage,
Yes.
so that's why Cale kind of left them both out there.
I saw Guns N' Roses this weekend. Izzy was not there.
Just like
Confirm that.
Sign.
CBS Morning starts right now.
Have
Stay
a good
tuned.
Monday.